So in today's video, we're going to discuss why you can't finish a fat loss phase and you're stuck around 13% body fat. If this is you, you're going to want to stick around through this video. You may be asking, who am I? Well, my name is Tom Sergi and I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is an online physique transformation program where we get results like this. So let's waste no time and get straight into the meat of the video. Now, the first thing we will say is, the bottom line up front is if you're not dropping, your deficit needs to be increased. So let's say you've been dieting down for a while, you're at this sticking point of 12, 13% body fat, you want to get sub below that, get crispier, move off what will probably be this little pouch here, just wants to be tightened up, but you really struggle to do so. You've tried everything, or you think you've tried everything. Ultimately, mate, your deficit needs to be increased, which I know it sounds obvious. We'll come on to the main bulk of this video in a minute, but it does. So what your options are: either you increase output, you've got a few means of doing that. You can increase the step count from what you're doing, 10,000 per day, 12,000 a day, up to 15, 16, 17, depends on your capacity of time. Or you can increase your formal cardio in the minutes and duration, go from 50 minutes daily to 60 minutes daily to 70 minutes daily. If some of you aren't doing that much cardio per day, it's probably why you're not dropping. It's probably why the deficit's not increasing. Now, let's say time is not something that is on your side in terms of like your overall how much time you've got within a given day. What you're going to want to do is increase the intensity of the cardio you do. That's not a green light to go out running because it'll accumulate a lot of fatigue and also spike appetite. It's not a green light to get on the assault bike and send it and do some form of HIIT training. What I would want to see you do is take your cardio from a heart rate of 120 to 130 and sit it around a cardio of 140, maybe even 145 to 150. That's probably about the maximum you're going to get it at before it really does start to increase appetite and accumulate fatigue. So I would look to push that next. If that is, if you're already maxing through cardio, your next bet is going to pull from food. And specifically, I'll be taking from fats. It's going to give you more calories back out of the diet than pulling carbs will. So, and also you need those carbs for driving performance in the gym to help, again, drive performance in the gym will burn more calories, and also you'll be able to build and hold the tissue that you're looking to do. So they are your options. Ultimately, if you're not dropping below 13, something's got to give. You may think, but I'm already on low. You just need to go lower. This is the last bit. Suffer your way through it. You'll remember the time when you suffered your way through it, the person you had to become to actually get that and achieve that through the other side. So that's the bottom line up front. But I think for the most part of you, you know that, and you know that would also work. For the most of you, the reason why you can't push past this is because you're standing on your own dick. You are in your own fucking way. That's why you can't get from 30 to 12 to the look you were really after, and you settle at 30 going, this is as lean as I can get. That's it for me. You are somewhat happy with how you look. This is the problem, or it's not a problem, but this is what I see from a lot of people. They've been 20%, 25%, 30%, maybe even 18%. When they get down towards 13, that drive, that pain that they initially had has really started to diminish. That pain they had when they were 18% body fat on that holiday and all their mates were peeled to the bone and their mates got attention and they didn't, that pain is gone. When you're at 13% body fat, that pain is really, really gone. You are happy. Of course you're happy. You can see a lot of your abs. You look a lot better. Like, it's not a bad look at all. It really, really isn't. But the problem with most of you is you don't set your goals, your ambition high enough. You don't have the vision for yourself that you deserve that thing. So you'll settle and be happy with 13% body fat. You post that picture, no one will give a fuck. It's easy to get to 13% body fat. It took no real effort to get down there. So why most of you will fail is you'll get happy before you reach the end goal. Because to push through that last bit is fucking painful. You have to suffer your way through it. You have to take the food lower than you want to. You have to do more output than you want to. You have to feel more fatigue than you wanted to. You have to be more tired, have less energy, have less drive to speak to people. But it's just what needs to be done to get to that last bit. And it's simply just a reflection of you and your standards to yourself. If you've got good standards to yourself, you'll push through those last bit. Because you'll not only see the physique at the end, you'll see the effort you had to put in over those 3 weeks to get the job done. And that transfers into like a business project that you need to complete by a certain date. That transfers into turning up for your friend that is 3 hours away. You had to get down to him at a certain time. It means that when things get squirrely, when push comes to shove, you don't sack it at the last bit, the hardest bit. You drive through it because you know you can get the job done. And if you're not willing to put any time under the bar with this, you're never going to be able to get to that stage that you really want to get to. You'll always stop at the mediocre happy point and never achieve the true goal you set. No one sets a goal to get to 13% body fat, but a lot of people fucking end there and sack it. Now, most of the time you are just in your own way. Most of the time you are just being a pussy, if we were to put it honestly. Like, if you were to hear your friends say what you're saying, you'd probably just call them a pussy. This is the long and short of it. Most people are in their own way and are just being a vagina about things because they don't want to do it, because they know it's tough and hard, and realistically they just haven't got that within them. If that's you, then be happy. Then accept that your 13% body fat is your absolute LOE, and that is you, and you should be happy and walk away with that. But then, that's a reflection of you. And is that what you really were doing this all for? Probably not. So then I would tell you, let's give you some actionable steps from here. So we've given you the tactic. The tactic is you need to create the deficit bigger. I would say drive output before you pull from food, so you can keep gym floor performance as high as possible, therefore building and retaining tissue at the later stage of the deficit. Now we know with that then, that is the tactic. That's nice, but ultimately people don't need the tactic, because this is why they stop at 13% body fat. They need the underlying principles, because that's what's going to help them. They need to have the self-respect that they as a person deserve 10%, deserve 8%, deserve 9%. But if you don't have the self-respect to get there, you will not push through that, because you just won't. You don't value yourself enough to do it, which is a shame, because why are other people better than you and they can do it and you're not? Like, if you can't respect yourself enough to get yourself to 10% body fat, no one else is. No one else could give a shit if you get 10% or not. I generally would like to see you get to 10%. That's why I make a video every day about how to get... my whole channel is built around, like, getting men to 10% body fat with some good muscle. So you can see I'm here and I'm on your side. But honestly, the tactic, what you need, is not going to help you. You just need to respect yourself enough to suffer your way through the process to get to that goal. It really is that simple. You need to just sit down and do the internal work and think, why do I settle for X? It's the same reason why when you look at some of your friends, you think, you could do better than her, mate. You could do better. She's average. She's a moaning motherfucker. It's because somewhere along the lines, their self-respect has hit their limit of exploitation. That was a military term we used to use. LOE, limit of exploitation. And they're happy, and that's their end state. Deep down they're not. Deep down they've hit a barrier and a limit of belief, and they can't push through the thing. So they accept with what the situation is. That is their ceiling of self-respect. Now, arrogance, people say don't be arrogant. Arrogance is a bad thing, but generally, if you want to do something that's quite fucking hard and tough, you need to have the arrogance that you think, I'm going to be able to do this. I can get to the top of this mountain. I once set up the challenge to go and do Kilimanjaro, and people are like, oh no, you need to do it in 5. You need to do it in 7 days. You need to do this route. It's got the best success rate. I was like, fuck that. I was like, I'm a soldier in the British Army. I'm a fucking paratrooper. I'm a PTI within the paratroopers. So I'm a machine. I can do this. And I set the challenge for 5 days. And lo and behold, that was the most ludicrous decision I ever made. And that, like, my own arrogance put me in that situation. And what happened was, I was going up the mountain, and the first day was all right. Yeah, so no problem. You start off at like 3,000, then you go to 4, no problem. When I went from 4 to 5, no, I cancelled. These are a bit low, actually. When I went from, you start at 2, you go to 3. Went from 3 to 4, then I started to get like a little bit of a headache. When I went from 4 to 5, that's when I was fucking suffering. I was in such a bad way. Headaches, blistering. I was thinking, fuck. Because the hardest part is going from the third camp to the summit. You do that through the night on the last day, and it's the steepest part. I was thinking, fucking hell, I'm in absolute turmoil here. I was like, I feel sick as fuck. I can barely eat. I'm pissing every 2 minutes because they're telling me to drink water to flush out the CO2. And I was just in absolute bobbins, but I was like, I've told everyone back home I'm coming to do Kilimanjaro. Everyone back home sees me as this guy that fucking will go out on a night out in Blackpool in England and run home. Everyone will see me as this fit paratrooper guy that runs with a Bergen on his back. I can't not make it. Jesus Christ, imagine what that would do to my image. And my own arrogance literally fucking marched me up the top of the mountain. I was going with this couple and they were in front of me. And because when you get like a high altitude sickness, you start to go a bit like drunk and dizzy. There were sheer drops to the left and right. This guy's like swaying near the end. So I'm alert because he's nearly going. I'm like trying to catch him before he falls. But anyway, we get to the top of the range before you get to the summit, and they ultimately were too sick and they had to stop there. But I was like, no, keep going. And as I'm coming towards the summit, I can see it, and like I've not had this feeling before. It's a feeling of just pure euphoria that I wanted to like tear up and cry, but again, I didn't because I wanted to hold it together like a fucking man. But looking back, I actually wished I just let it all out. And truly what got me to the top of that mountain was just the arrogance that I said I could do it, I believed I could, and I just moved on that with no other thought that I will get to the top. And I've used this analogy for so many times in my life to get to a certain result. That was just one example. You must have the same for you. You must think, this guy with the straightest of fringe on the internet is no better than me. If he can get to 10% body fat, so can I. He has a human body like I have a human body. I can do it if he can do it. And that's what you need to have for yourself. You need to have the arrogance that if you have enough time and enough energy to do something, you will get it done. That has to be at the forefront of your mind. As a result of that, you will respect yourself more. Have confidence with whatever it is that you set your mind on. If you don't have confidence with something, fake it. Fake it, get good at the thing, and then you will have confidence. People say just get confident. You get confident by doing the thing. You need to have the arrogance to believe you will be able to do the thing. You need to have the self-respect to never stop. And as a result, you will get confidence. But confidence is an absolute backbone of anything you're going to do in life. And your confidence to get to 10% body fat will grow as you keep pushing through the trials and tribulations. The last thing I will say is have a vision for yourself. Vision is very, very important. It's where are you going and why are you going there? Why do you even want to get to 10% in the first place? And have a long, hard think about why you truly wanted this. Most of the time it will be because you believe you're better than other people. Now you want to showcase it to them. You think you're cool as fuck. Now you want to showcase it to the world. And you should have that about you. Having that about you is what will help you do great things. Set high visions. Set high goals for yourself. It's just about to turn 2025. Think about the things you want to achieve next year. Lock in, double down, and get after the thing. Have the vision. If you have no vision in life, you're going to just be passing through like a feather in the wind, and it's going to be pretty boring, pretty mundane, and you're never going to be fulfilled, never going to be satisfied. So in that order, that is the key underlying principles I want you to have. If you're struggling at 13% body fat, do the internal work. Sit down and think, what is my limiting belief for the self-respect? Do I generally have the arrogance to believe I can get to the goal? Do I have confidence in myself that I can deliver? And is there an overall vision that I'm moving towards in life? Because when you nail all those in and you have the tactics, which I just gave you at the start of the video, you will go to where you need to get that end goal, which is ultimately to the point of 10% body fat, nice and crispy, not to the point of 13, which still is nice, but it's not what you truly wanted. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.